Okay, everybody, here we go. So, some of the little tips and tricks here. You want to get your firewood permit done and done correct? Go onto this web page right here, www.gov, www.2.gov.bc.ca/gov, blah, 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 blah. What really works is do this. www.gov.bc.ca/firewood permits. And then you hit enter. It's going to bring you to the same page. It's going to auto link here. So, members of the public who wish to cut firewood on Crown land for personal use must have a free use permit for firewood. So, it's from each natural resource district where they intend to cut, issued by the appropriate district manager or designate. Dead and simple. You got to find the area where you live. You got to pick the right one, and it's free. You need to fill it out online. So, you live in the Northeast, Fort Nelson area, Almanica. It's all in here. Mackenzie, PG. You can pick them out. It should give you the permit. Pretty simple. Something you should know is make sure you're on Crown land. Make sure you're not in parks or in protected lands, anything like that, because this permit's no good there. So if you read all this, it'll explain Crown land only, no private land, blah blah blah. Don't be stupid. It's pretty simple. But that's not where I live. I live in the Thompson Okanagan. And I want the Thompson Rivers, where I plan to be cutting firewood. Simple as that. So what you're going to do, you're going to read all this. It's going to explain to you how much you're allowed to take a year. So how much does this permit allow you to take? 6 cords. A cord's 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. So, and that's per property address per year. So if you got a cabin in the woods, you might be allowed to get a little more. Maximum transport length is 2 meters, 7 feet. So can't go out there with a self-loading logging truck and smash it together. That's not okay with this permit. You're going to have to pay stumpage and probably some other shit, but that's not my department. So by signing and dating this personal use firewood permit, the undersigned agrees to comply with the following conditions. Ensure that all firewood is cut from unencumbered vacant Crown land within the Thompson Rivers District. A web map link is provided on page 2 of this permit. This permit does not authorize any activities within the area of any other active cutting authority. Cut and remove only dead standing trees or down trees less than 40 centimeters, 16 inches, in diameter at their largest. Stump heights less than 12 inches from the ground. Clear all debris from the roads, ditches, streams, and lop all branches from felled trees. Scatter them close to the ground. Assume responsibility for any damage, injury claim, or expense that Crown faces as a result, directly or indirectly, of the activities carried out in connection with this permit. So that's your basic rules. There's only 5 of them. You can figure those out. Pretty simple. So you're not authorized to cut any trees marked for preservation of wildlife or any trees showing obvious signs of wildlife use. Example, cavities, nests, foraging marks, etc. You don't cut any live trees, green trees, coniferous or deciduous. Yeah, big words. Cut any trees within legally established old growth management areas or old growth deferral areas. And see web map link. Shows you everything. So maybe we'll look at that in a minute too. Cut into or remove forest companies' coniferous or deciduous log decks or waste piles. So if you see a nicely stacked load in the bush, leave it alone. It's not yours. So cut any trees in parks, rec areas, or campsites. Cut any trees within 50 meters of any lake or stream. So keep that in mind too. And you cannot cut any standing live western red cedar or western larch trees. So know your trees, guys. Alright. No use of industrial equipment and or use of motor vehicles to skid or drag timber. It's an interesting one. I think they don't want you pulling big chunks out of the bush, but I'm sure you wouldn't get in shit for pulling something from the ditch onto the road. This permit is not valid until signed and dated by the applicant and must be carried out by the permittee while carrying out activities or transporting timber cut under the permit. Pretty simple rules. So this permit expires March 31st, 2026 and is only valid in the Thompson Rivers District. Keep that in mind. So signed, permittee signature. You could probably sign right there. I bet you'd figure that one out. And here's your web links, so it should be pretty easy to do. Special tree protection regulation. Read it, know it. Alright, this came in. So, firewood cutting prohibited areas. Here's a good one to know. Yeah, do you want to open this? Sure do. Let's see what happens. So once you get here, let's find your area. I'm going to go somewhere. Let's go to Kamloops, because that's the area we're hanging out in, guys. And it's going to have a bunch of these areas. So we've got light green, dark green, a little purpley. So let's see what it all means. Layers. I picked the wrong one. Yeah, I know, that's right. Legends. So what do we got? So we got Forest Tenure Managed License, dark green. Provincial Parks, light green. And Conservation Areas, also light green. So stay out of those ones. That's pretty easy with purple. Protected Areas, stay out of those ones. Pretty simple. They got some blue, and they got some... What else we got in here that we would like to look at? What's that? That looks blue. PMBC Parcel Cadastry Federal. No idea what that means. Guess you should stay out of it if you don't know what it is. So, recreational polygons, crown land leases. Oh, there you go. That's that dark blue. Dark blue. So, crown land leases. What's it going to tell us about that? Cool thing about this website is everything links to something else. So, TA crown land leases. A crown land lease is a type of land tenure issued under the Land Act. A Land Act lease is issued where long-term tenure is required, where substantial improvements are proposed, and or where definite boundaries are required in order to avoid land use and property conflicts. The tenure holder is granted the exclusive use and enjoyment of this area. The tenure holder also has the right to exclude or charge the public for use of the land and or improvements, when this is consistent with the terms of the lease. Crown leases require never heard this. A cadastral survey prior to issues. So, you know what? If you see any of these crown land leases on your map, you probably shouldn't be in there cutting firewood either, because somebody has full rights to that land. You could probably swing around and find out who it is, talk to them, see if you can get permissions. Kind of the same way it works with hunting a lot of the time. That was the yellow ones as well. Alright, so there you know. So, see all these areas that don't have highlighted shit? Not a lot, but they're there. Those areas are pretty safe. You can go cut firewood there, as long as you're staying away from waterways and not cutting western larch or western red cedar, right? Pretty simple. Then you're not out there with a fucking skidder and a logging truck getting firewood. We know how that goes. Alright guys, so once you've gone and filled this out, dated, signed, you will keep it on you when you're in the woods cutting firewood. Simple. Now you can stay out of jail. Cheers guys.